Awesome. It looks like we're live. Welcome, everybody, to the Pipeline Podcast. Today is August 7th, and today we're going to cover Sydney Sweeney's so-called controversial jeans ad, even though I don't think it's controversial, but there are some people on the internet kind of in an uproar about it. So that's what we're going to go over today. Let's check it out. The first thing we're going to start with is the ad. That way we can all watch it together and make a decision if we think it's actually, I don't know, like promoting eugenics or anything like that, because that is kind of a claim people are making. When in reality, she's just doing an ad. I mean, that's her job. She's an actor. So let's watch it. Before we check out any sources, try to make our own opinion about how we feel about the ad together. Let's check it out.
I'm not here to tell you to buy American Eagle jeans. And I definitely won't say that they're the most comfortable jeans I've ever worn. Or that they make your butt look amazing. Why would I need to do that? But if you said that you want to buy the jeans, I'm not going to stop you. But just so we're clear, this is not me telling you to buy American Eagle jeans.
Sydney Sweeney has very jeans.
You see what I did there, right?
So right there, this is where the outrage comes from. So Sydney Sweeney has great genes. And they're trying to say, like, she's blonde-haired, blue eyes, so it's like a eugenics thing. They're trying to, like, say she's a Nazi for making an ad and looking attractive in it, which is exactly what she's paid to do. And so we're kind of going to go over that because it's pretty fair to say that just a couple of years ago, a lot of advertising was like super woke. We have like that now infamous Bud Light commercial. We have examples of like companies like changing their logo for pride, but only in countries that like agree with like transgender rights. Okay, so here, this is kind of what we got a couple of years ago, just like companies not being honest with the issues they were trying to make people aware of. So we have like BMW, but BMW Middle East, like there's pride colors in like the main page, but like the Middle East, no. And this is a couple examples. Same with like Bethesda. A couple years ago, this is the kind of advertising we were getting. I do have another example of just pictures here. So like these are the kind of ads we were getting 2 years ago in 2023. And then this is what we're getting today. This is like Calvin Klein, I believe, and this is American Eagle. So it is different companies, but still kind of just talks about like the culture shift. People are kind of going away from like the woke stuff because, you know, these companies realize you have to make money, and to do that, you have to make advertisements that people want to see. I'm going to ask everybody, which one would you rather see? The one from 2023 or the one from 2025? Do I even need to answer that? I mean, Sydney Sweeney just looks great. We have a couple more examples here. It's like a pregnant dude for Calvin Klein, and that's 2022. That's the kind of advertisements we were seeing. This is what we see today. A couple more examples. American Eagle using like a plus-sized model here, and it's like no hate against fat people, but here's the thing. If you're trying to sell jeans, you want to put, you know, someone who looks good in them in your advertisements. That's really what it comes down to. There's a reason Sydney Sweeney is famous in the first place. Here's another example. I just kind of wanted to show that. Start off by like showing the ad. This is kind of where the outrage comes from, the great jeans part. Then I wanted to show just some examples of what we were seeing in the past from certain companies, like in terms of advertising, and kind of what we're seeing today. And I mean, I feel like I don't even need to say it. I much prefer what we're seeing today. I would much rather see Sydney Sweeney in jeans than like a pregnant dude. No offense. I'm just being honest, and I feel like it's one of those issues that like everyone kind of agrees on, but some people are like scared to say it. And then what we have here, just for the rest of the video, is just kind of just some articles kind of talking about it. I tried to find articles that were like anti-Sydney Sweeney. I will say there's probably more articles bashing the hate against her from this advertisement than there are articles written that are actually hating on her. So, you know, that's a good thing. I did have to kind of dig for these sources. But you go to like the Atlantic, it's pretty much a guarantee they're going to be like pro woke, like pro big beautiful woman and pro pregnant men advertisements. And then the other one we have is NPR. And if you watched our episode yesterday, you do know that NPR leans to the left. Here's just another example of that. We're going to go over it a little bit. Let's start with The Atlantic, and just give me 1 second. The discourse is broken is the title, which doesn't really give us a good sense of what the article is going to be about. So I would say that's kind of a bad title, but whatever. I clicked on it. How did a jeans commercial with Sydney Sweeney come to this? Kind of describes what she's wearing in the video. That's how it starts off. It describes what she's doing to sell denim to women. On like the 4th sentence, it brings up that quote at the end. This is, I guess, a different ad that we didn't watch. So it says, genes are passed down from parents to offspring, often determining traits like hair color, personality, and even eye color. Okay, we didn't actually watch this commercial. Let's check this out. Okay, so it links it from Facebook.
Offspring, often determining traits like hair color, personality, and even eye color. My jeans are blue.
Sydney Sweeney has very jeans.
Okay, so this is another ad. This is what The Atlantic is responding to, not the first one that we watched. And this one's kind of the same stuff. So she's making like a pun on her jeans because she's attractive, and she's wearing denim because she's doing an ad for American Eagle. And I believe The Atlantic has a problem with that. The Atlantic calls the whole thing a lot, but does not elaborate. It sounds like they're claiming that it drives everyone a little bit insane because it becomes something else. And then they don't elaborate on what it becomes, but they do have a quote here from like a TikTok commenter. And basically the TikTok comment is saying it's literally giving Nazi propaganda, which like, I think how they come to that conclusion is they say, because she has blonde hair, blue eyes, and she's making a jeans pun, that she's a Nazi. Or American Eagle is a Nazi. I think that's what they're trying to say. But it doesn't look like The Atlantic goes out and straight up says it. They just kind of give you a path to where you can read the TikTok comment that says it. And then if you want to read the rest, you got to give them money, which isn't going to happen. They bring up 4chan posts, which like, this isn't really a 4chan thing. This is like an American Eagle advertisement thing. And then we just have another example. It's the NPR kind of just like discussing it. There's no like great quote from here, but let me see if I can find a couple quotes that kind of summarize like their take on it. They talk about playing on the word gene and saying that she does have good genes. And then they're saying the reason she says she has good genes is because she's white, she's blonde, and has blue eyes. But in reality, it's because she's extremely attractive. That's why she's a famous actor. She could have any color hair she wants and any color eyes she wants and skin color. She would still be attractive. So I just kind of wanted to go over this. And of course, it's the sources that I first find that are like anti-Sydney Sweeney, that are like calling her a Nazi, or at least comparing her to one, are, of course, they are The Atlantic and NPR. If you've been following the channel, or you just follow mainstream news in general, you know why. Definitely check out yesterday's video if you want a little bit more of NPR's liberal bias. We covered it last night. It was great. There's just just in case you weren't aware of like what's going on, what's all this uproar over Sydney Sweeney about? Why is she even in the news for doing a commercial? That's what's going on. So she made a commercial where she's in jeans saying she has good genes because she's trying to sell jeans, and people have a problem with that. The reason it is important is because just a couple years ago, we kind of saw the opposite side of the political spectrum trying to dominate advertisements, and it just really didn't work out because like to advertise, you need to appeal to the most amount of people that you possibly can. And this is kind of an example here, like BMW not changing their logo for Pride in certain parts of the world, but doing it in others just to try to appeal to that audience. But in reality, it's like when you do stuff like that, it's fake, you know, it's absolutely fake. If BMW really believed in like the cause, like the Pride cause, if they really truly believed in it more than they believed in making money, they wouldn't even do business in the Middle East. That's my opinion. And it's just kind of like people are kind of sick of just like the fake woke in these companies because they're just doing it not cause a ruckus and try to make money and stay in like the public's good grace. But like people kind of see through it and they know like the only reason they're doing this is because they don't want to get attacked. But then this is kind of like what we're seeing now, like kind of a return to like normal advertisements. I'm not trying to call anyone ugly, but I will say Sydney Sweeney is more attractive than all the other people in these photos here. And if you're trying to sell clothing, I mean, everybody knows this. Like that's the reason like models are attractive in the first place. Like if you're trying to sell clothing, you want to put an attractive person in your clothing to get people to buy your clothing. That's how you make money. That's just like, it's just a thing. So I just wanted to cover that. And I thought it was a really fun episode because like this is kind of not normally something we would cover on the channel, but just the fact that she made like a eugenics joke, the genes, she has good genes is what she's saying. People are going to portray that with like eugenics and her being a Nazi. That's kind of the reason it was brought into the fold on the channel, is because really for her to get attacked for that is just ridiculous. It's kind of like when people say like, maybe I'm not okay with illegal immigrants that could be criminals living in my neighborhood and that person getting called a Nazi. Like it's kind of like that. She's not even making a political stance. She's just saying she's attractive and people are comparing her to a Nazi, which is ridiculous. So that's what we talked about today. If I missed anything, leave a comment, let me know. And maybe in the future we'll cover more stuff like this in the future. Maybe we'll cover more stuff like this. I don't know yet. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this. We always cover current events and conspiracy theories, so that's always fun. This Wednesday, our long form podcast, it's either going to talk, I'm not sure the topic yet. There's two things I want to do. So I do want to read I think it's the Durham report. There was also some new updates with that. It's like a whole Russiagate type thing. And then also I want to talk about, there's something else I've kind of been working on. I don't know when I'm going to drop that. So this Wednesday will be a good episode. It'll be more of a long form episode, more a little bit more scripted, more prepared. And then any other episodes we do throughout the week are usually just talking about current events, stuff like this that's in the news. So definitely give the channel a subscribe if you like that kind of stuff, and have a good night.